As you probably know, we call it the YAC, the Youth Advisory Committee, and these are individuals from 16 to 25 that back in the fall we got together and we made this team of 17 of them, and from the beginning they've been part of the planning, they've been part of the execution, and they've been a great voice for us to have and great input. And it's what we tell all of our interns, what we tell all of the young people that we work with, that it's not only what they learn from us, it's like we keep learning from them too. So we thank them always for being involved with us. We have also the radio workshop, which trains youth across Africa as radio reporters, and they've been here with us again, and we thank them. So to go back to the 30 for 30, so we had this idea, which was we're going to let the Youth Advisory Committee choose 30 grantees, and each one of them would get 30,000 euros as celebrating our 30 years. So it's 30 new projects that for 30,000 each that the Youth Advisory Committee would actually choose. And that may sound quite easy because you say, fine, they're going to choose 30 projects. But there was the most important thing was the whole process behind it. And I think that's where, in my view, was very beneficial to them. Because we said you're going to choose the projects, and then you're going to go through the whole process, very similar to what we do for 30 years. Assess the projects, and learn what you have to ask for. Learn how do you assess, because nobody has unlimited funds, and you have to make decisions. And a decision to say no sometimes is more important than a decision to say yes. So we match them up with our own program officers, and Casey, our program director, will tell you more. But it was, I think, an amazing experience. So first, if I can please ask the Youth Advisory Committee members and Casey Russo from the SNF to come up on stage, please. What's her name? So we're going to go into more detail, but first I wanted to ask Rain to give us, on behalf of the Youth Advisory Committee, to share a few thoughts for the overall experience. Thank you.
When Anastasia and Dimitris, IMED journalists that directed the Nostos Youth Advisory Committee this year, first told us about the 30 for 30 initiative, I got off the call and immediately started jumping up and down. I was elated. The first task that SNF had given us was simple, and it was beautiful. We had to nominate nonprofits, ones that we had seen doing the good work in their communities, for SNF support. I was so excited because I'd been volunteering for NGOs since high school, and in that time had come to know so many deserving organizations. As we started to create the nominations list, I quickly realized that I was not the only one with that experience, because in all, the YAC nominated about 200 organizations from 22 countries and 6 continents. Now, bringing these NGOs to an international conversation was impactful. It was an incredible privilege. And of course, it was only the start of the process. SNF's lovely program officers then entrusted us with the communication to the nonprofits, from introductions to the deeper conversations about their work and the biggest challenges they're facing. Following these meetings, we wrote up proposals, we discussed it with each other, and finally, in the true spirit of democracy, we put it to a vote. Now, we'll be talking about the results of that vote here in a few minutes, but first, I wanted to highlight something that my peers have said about this process. They said that the 30 for 30 initiative was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. An opportunity where we as young people can develop not only as professionals, but also in humility. Humility. That's what I want to leave you all with. Because at the end of the day, the hard work that's being done by the Stavros Niarchos Foundation, the program officers, and now the YIC, it's entirely made possible by international nonprofits doing the hard work every day. They are the ones who day in, day out are empowering humanity. They are the ones there directly with the people, with the communities, with the patients and children. And I have to say, these organizations, they're not just the existing SNF grant partners. They're not just the 30 for 30 recipients or the ones that we had put on that list initially. The truth is that there are thousands of NGOs across the world that are making transformational, substantial, and sustainable change without any of us here even knowing their names. So I want to say thank you, SNF. Thank you for allowing us to build these 30 new partnerships. Thank you to the organizations for your incredible work. And when it comes to shaping the next 30 years of collaborations, we have to ask, please, 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 let's not stop here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. One thing, because again, because of the hour also, we're not going to have any closing remarks, but I wanted to remind everybody, we're going to continue, but that at the end of it, when we finish from here, there's still the SNF dialogues, is ethos still part of a human identity, which is going to be at the NLG lobby across the building here. And then we have the choir with good job Nikki at the Agora. And then tonight, 8:30, we have the Not Dead Yet. We might be dead by then, but not dead yet, with John Cleese in this room. So there's more coming after what's going to be a celebratory sort of closing. So I think next, I want to give the floor to Casey, who is our programs director, who has managed this whole process with our program officers to take you through some more details of how this whole thing worked out.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Andreas just mentioned, I'm Casey Russo, and I'm the Director of Programs here at SNF. As you've heard a little bit, the programs team is responsible for reviewing the incoming grant applications received by the foundation and working closely with our grantee partners throughout the entire implementation of our work. On behalf of the programs team, we first wanted to say thank you to Andreas for entrusting us with this initiative and for his commitment to bringing young people directly into the grant-making process. And to the members of the SNF Nostos Youth Advisory Committee who are here with us today, thank you. Thank you for your commitment, for your curiosity, and your willingness to engage so thoughtfully throughout this journey. You became true partners in this work and members of our team, not just throughout 30 for 30, but throughout the last year. So really thank you. You challenged our assumptions, brought fresh perspectives to long-standing questions, and reminded us that effective philanthropy requires both humility and openness to new ways of thinking. And as you've heard a little bit earlier this year, as part of SNF's 30th anniversary, we launched an initiative to support 30 organizations with grants of $30,000 each, all nominated and selected by SNF's Youth Advisory Committee. The goal was simple but important: to ensure that young people help shape the future of our work as we look ahead to SNF's next 30 years. The process began with the committee identifying organizations they believed were making a difference in their communities. They drew from their own experiences, networks, research, and understanding of the issues that mattered most to them, and they assembled quite an impressive group of organizations to start from. We then met with all of these organizations to learn more about their work and consider where our support could have the greatest impact. Throughout these conversations, which were truly led by the Youth Advisory Committee with guidance from the programs team, they asked thoughtful and challenging questions, not only about the organizations themselves, but how we define our work, how we define impact, and how we make decisions, especially the difficult ones. Our role as programs was not to provide answers, but to create space for dialogue, for learning, and for decision-making. And for our team, it was an opportunity to see our work through a different lens. So today we celebrate not only the 30 new organizations that will receive support, but also the spirit of partnership that made this initiative possible. We are really grateful to the Youth Advisory Committee for their leadership and are excited to see the impact that these organizations will have in the future. And I'd now like to invite my programs colleagues to join us on stage so we can all learn a little bit more about our 30 new grantees.
And also to say that can we go back to the previous card, please, 1 second? So this map is not just any map. I mean, this is a map which has all the places that the SNF has been to in the last 30 years.
Yeah. Thank you. And first, we'll invite Sophia, who I actually partnered with in 30 for 30, to talk about 2 organizations.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sofia Balieru, and I am, of course, a part of the Nostos YAC. I am so excited to introduce our first grantee, the Florence Nightingale Foundation. This United Kingdom-based nonprofit has been dedicated to upholding the mission of the namesake nurse throughout the Commonwealth for over a century. What most impressed us about their work, among everything they do in the UK to train nurses and launch various public health programs, is their commitment to working on the ground with community members in African nations. With this grant, the Florence Nightingale Foundation will be able to expand their operations to yet another country, this time in Ghana. The foundation was actually initially approached by the national head of nursing to institute a program which will train nurses with their patented mentor-mentee system, which will ensure a high retention rate and job placement, along with filling a much-needed gap in the healthcare system there. Florence Nightingale has previously used this system in other nations, and we are so excited to see it happen again. And thank you all so much. Yeah. And with that, we can... I am so excited to introduce the next grantee, which is Black Yield Institute from South Baltimore, Maryland in the US. For the past 4 years, I have lived and attended school in Baltimore and have had the opportunity to explore and learn more about the city. It is a beautiful place filled with people who are striving to make the world a better place in every single way. It is also a city that has been heavily impacted by the legacy of redlining and spatial racism that has affected Black cities across the United States. From limited food access to housing discrimination, Baltimore has suffered from repeated attempts by various governments and corporations to continue these historic patterns of discrimination. However, Black Yield Institute, along with a number of other Baltimore organizations that you'll hear about later, however, BYI, is a Pan-African nonprofit that has been combating food apartheid in Black majority South Baltimore neighborhoods for over a decade. The organization believes that in order for people to organize effectively, they must first have their basic need met. So, BYI runs a marketplace in a neighborhood that didn't have a single grocery store for over 20 years. They also conduct political education and community events, like their free mutual aid markets, community gardens, their book publishing, their open to the public classes, and monthly events such as open mics to bring their community closer together. As a young person in Baltimore, I am so proud to say that this grant they have received is going to go towards funding a pilot program where Baltimore youth will be able to take classes and participate as members in the marketplace, learning valuable skills and history such as how to advocate for their own communities. I myself am a former student of BYI's, and I'm beyond ecstatic to see their great work finally get the recognition they deserve on a stage like this one. Thank you. finally, I'd like to turn it over to my program officer, Casey Russo. She absolutely exemplifies this idea of humility that Bryn touched on earlier, so I'm going to brag about her for just a moment. 30 for 30 could not have happened without her. Nostos itself could not have happened without her. She works tirelessly day in and day out. She is beyond dedicated to the work. She is a shining example of what we should all strive to be in this kind of part of the world with nonprofits and philanthropy, and she makes me believe even more in the mission of SNF. So here's Casey.
Thank you. Well, thank you for that. But just to say that I had the pleasure of working with Sophia throughout the 30 for 30 process and really over the last year in preparation for Nostos, and even before the initiative began, once it was just announced internally at our team, you hit the ground running and immediately started to help us define and look at what shape as 30 for 30 would take. You made so many contributions to the number of organizations that would be nominated and consistently followed up to ensure that they really knew how to actually make their way to our online application and put such personal care and thought behind the entire initiative and the organizations that you wanted to ensure were a part of it. And what stood out to me really was your thoughtfulness and dedication and the clear point of view that you brought to our team over the last year. And also, just as we're all moving so quickly trying to get initiatives like this off the ground, you reminded me never to take the role for granted. And you really reinforced the immense responsibility that we carry in the work that we do each and every day. So thank you. And with this, we'll advance to our next pair, which is Lamine and Panos. So thank you, everyone.
Kalispera, good afternoon. Hello everyone, my name is Lamine Kanu. I'm a member of the SNF Nostos Youth Advisory Committee, a committee that is comprised of 17 young people from different parts of the world. I was born in Freetown, Sierra Leone, West Africa. I have a background in fashion design, psychology, and international relations and European affairs. I will be presenting two organizations that have done immense work and have transformed the lives of many people. Firstly, I will start with the OWN Project. It was founded in Athens in 2016. The OWN Project have aimed at caring for unaccompanied refugee children. At the OWN Project, children receive holistic protection service, including food, housing, clothing, medical care, social as well as legal and psychological support. The SNF grant will go toward the expense of a full-time child psychiatrist who will continue to provide consistent mental health support for the children of the OWN Project. The OWN Project have transformed the lives of hundreds of unaccompanied refugee children, offering them a home away from home. That goes beyond just safe living conditions. It extends to well-rounded support with their well-being, stability, and social inclusion. At the same time, the OWN Project led the way in advocating for important systematic and institutional changes for the protection of unaccompanied minors in Greece. Mental health support is a core pillar of the OWN Project. The children under their care have experienced danger, separation, prolonged precarity, and all of which can cause problems to their mental health. This grant will help children served by the OWN Project feel at home. That means safety, security, but also the right to grow, thrive, and the best version of themselves. This grant is especially important to me as a person who has previously benefited from their OWN Project. I am deeply grateful to all they've offered to me as well, and I'm excited to see the good work recognized by SNF. And the next one is Safe Space Sierra Leone. Safe Space Sierra Leone was an NGO that stood out to me the most. As someone from Sierra Leone, learning about its work made a strong impression on me. I was inspired by their commitment to support women and girls through mental health service, sexual and reproductive health education, and advocacy for gender equality. What I found especially meaningful was its focus on addressing issues such as gender-based violence and female genital mutilation, FGM. This is something my mom, my sisters, my aunties, people I know around have gone through. In Sierra Leone, 83% of women and girls aged 15 and 49 I've undergone through FGM, which is getting to study now psychology. I have to understand how it has affected my mom. Like, my mom never laughed. She's always like, all of this have caused so much trauma to women and girls in this part of the world, but the government doesn't care. I was particularly interested in Big Mama Initiative, which was the Safe Space Sierra Leone NGO. It's initiated, which SNF grant will support. Big Madam will be an integrated system, companion and hub with a physical support center in Freetown, enable survivors to access information, guidance, and referral to medical, psychological, and legal service. I believe this initiative has the potential to make a real difference by expanding access to essential services and opportunities for women and girls in Sierra Leone. It reflects Safe Space Sierra Leone's commitment to creating lasting community-led change and empowering those who need support most. Learning about this NGO work gave me a deeper appreciation for the importance of investing in innovation of local solutions that strengthen communities and improve lives. Thank you very much for your audience, and I will now give the mic to my coordinator and Panos, who like a mentor to me in this process. He has been with me, guiding me through every step. And Panos.
Thank you, Lamin. None of our youth advisors entered this process with a background in grant evaluation or proposal review. Yet, from the very beginning, Lamin, together with our interns, Georgia and Angelina, identified and embraced the values that lie at the heart of philanthropy and the ethos of the foundation, recognized the key ingredients of meaningful grant making, supporting people and organizations doing great and important work on the ground, creating direct and measurable impact for beneficiaries, and providing opportunities for organizations and communities to grow and thrive. So, Lamin, thank you for your dedication and enthusiasm throughout this journey. Georgia, Angelina, for bringing your energy and curiosity and fresh perspectives to this process. And you all remind us why youth participation is so important in philanthropy. Thank you.
Thank you, Lamin. Thank you, Panos. And now we'll welcome Niarchos and Anj. Thank you, Lamin. Thank you, Panos. And now we'll welcome Niarchos and Anj. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Niarchos Berhe, among the SNF Nostos Youth Advisory Committee. I'm originally from Ethiopia, living in Belgium. And over the past year, I had an amazing opportunity to work alongside these wonderful young people that you see here to nominate and review numerous community-led projects, but also help identify grassroots efforts for the 30 for 30 initiative. And throughout this process, I was inspired by two organizations that I would like to share with you. First one is Nutrition for Education and Development, which I had the fortune of seeing the work they're doing on the ground a few years ago. I saw firsthand how they addressed the structural drivers of child malnutrition in urban settings, where poverty, unemployment, and weak nutritional systems persist. I'm confident that this support will help them scale a model that also addresses both immediate nutritional needs and also the underlying socioeconomic drivers of malnutrition. I was equally inspired by Vagina Amani Pomoja, based in Kenya, reached over 1,500 youth in informal settlements through their Skills for Life program, blending life skills, psychosocial support, and economic empowerment to confront HIV risks, teenage pregnancy, gender-based violence, and unemployment. The support that will be provided by SNF will go a long way to improve the lives of these young people by strengthening the prevention systems, by expanding access to safe space, and also creating more long-term opportunities for the youth in Kenya. So both organizations tackle root causes, and they deliver a lasting, locally driven, and transformative change to their communities. And this shows that investing in community solutions truly matters. I would also like to take this opportunity to extend my sincere gratitude and appreciation to my mentor and partner in crime, Anj, the program officer I had the privilege to work with throughout this process. Her trust, encouragement, and confidence in my potential as a youth has allowed me to take full ownership in every stage of this grant-making process, which I'm deeply grateful for. With that, I'll hand it over to Ansh.
Thank you. Amasegenalehu Nardos. Thank you to all the Youth Advisory Committee. Nardos, as a Rwandan, given the challenges our country faces as well as our continent, I recognize in you a familiar strength, one that rises above challenges and never lose sight of justice. Your integrity and fierce commitment to equity inspired me throughout the 30 for 30 initiative. And one of the most important lessons for our work together is the fact that young people must not be seen as the future stakeholders, but as leaders today. The challenges that we face cannot wait for the next generation. They require their vision, their courage, and their action of this generation that we have here today. Working alongside you has reinforced another essential truth. Transformative change happens when we invest in those with lived experience, who are already supporting and strengthening their communities. They understand their realities, their needs, as well as the solutions in a way no one else can. Youth-led work is already driving change around the world. Our collective responsibility is to continue advancing equity, justice, as well as accountability so that those closest to the challenges are fully supported to lead the response. Thank you for your voice and for the change you're already creating. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nardos. Thank you, Anj. And now, Boye and Lukia.
Hello, everyone. My name is Boye Mohammed Al Hassan, and I'm with the SNF Nostos Youth Advisory Committee. It's my pleasure to present two amazing organizations that I had the privilege of working with and proudly nominated for the 30 for 30 Youth Grant-Making Initiative. The first is Student Organ Donation Advocate, also known as SODA. That is a U.S. national nonprofit focused on student-led organ, eye, and tissue donation education and registration. What stood out for me the most is its proven ability to have potentially saved over 40,000 lives through student initiatives across U.S. campuses. Now, as a recent graduate at the American College of Greece, actually, my graduation ceremony is tomorrow. It is with great privilege to affirm that this generation, especially university students, have the necessary skills in shaping perspective of issues rarely spoken about and promoting change through active engagement, as long as they receive the necessary support and guidance. Another interesting organization is Nostos, which is a Greek-based NGO that works against social exclusion and unemployment. Through the 30 Cultural Steps program, it aims to use gamified educational materials to promote critical thinking and inclusion among 1,200 pupils from socio-economically disadvantaged schools in Greece. While museum visit might be viewed by many as a recreational activity, this experience is transformative for a child who has never had the opportunity to engage with history, art, or culture in this way. As a refugee myself, who arrived in Greece on the shores of Lesbos Island as an unaccompanied minor, this grant resonates with me very, very strongly. Interestingly, as SNF celebrates its 30 years anniversary, it coincides with the 30 years operation of Nostos in promoting integration of vulnerable groups, which falls under one of the main pillars of SNF. Finally, I would like to thank Ms. Lukia. I always call her Ms. Lukia, who is my program officer, for the guidance, encouragement, and support you have given me throughout this 30 for 30 initiative, which has made this experience very satisfying and humbling. I'll pass on the microphone to Ms. Lukia.
Thank you, Boy. Thank you for your hard work, for your commitment in this initiative, for the fruitful and joyful collaboration. And thank you to the Youth Advisory Committee. Guys, your ideas and perspective helped us refresh our evaluation approach while keeping the process transparent and inclusive. This collaboration has been a true learning experience for me. I've benefited from your creativity and energy, and together we made stronger, more youth-centered decisions. I'm grateful and excited for the 30 for 30 initiative and look forward to continue this learning journey with our youth partners. Thank you.
Thank you, Boye. Thank you, Lucia. And now we'll welcome Simon and Luis.
Hello, everyone. My name is Simon Brand. I'm a member of the SNF Nostos Youth Advisory Committee, and I had the honor of working with Luis on the 30 for 30 grant initiative. And I'm thrilled to be presenting two organizations today. For so many survivors of human trafficking, justice is never achieved. The legal system, the very place where accountability should live, is far out of reach. The Human Trafficking Legal Center tries to fix this. The center connects survivors of forced labor and human trafficking with legal representation in the United States and trains thousands of lawyers to better defend and uphold the rights of survivors. But their work does not stop there. The Harriet Tubman Fellowship is among the most powerful expressions of their mission. Led by the organization's Advocacy and Survivor Leadership Director, Evelyn Chumbo, the fellowship is a 2-year scholarship and leadership development program for survivors of labor trafficking. It provides fellows with financial stability, leadership skills through personalized and specialized training and educational experiences that prepare these survivors to be leaders in a variety of sectors. The first class of this fellowship recently just finished the program, and I'm honored that SNF will help support and sustain the next cohort of this amazing fellowship. The second organization I'm presenting is the Freedom Hub. Sally Irwin founded the Freedom Hub in 2014 because modern slavery, which is experienced by millions of people every day, is still happening in Australia. And for survivors, suffering does not end when they escape their conditions. The trauma, the lost years, the destruction of sense of self, the social death that is modern slavery, is a long road. And for too long, these people have walked it alone after short-term crisis support runs out. This is the exact gap that the Freedom Hub Survivor School attempts to fill. Over the past decade, it has supported hundreds of survivors through trauma-informed education and life skills training with no time limit on how long these people can participate. This assistance ranges from group social support to language training to helping survivors get their first jobs. SNF support will help the Freedom Hub in 3 pivotal ways. It will help develop programming for the growing numbers of male survivors in Australia. It will improve their school's technology and digital skills training and expand the model across Australia. This grant will help them at what they do best: provide survivors with the tools and training to rebuild their lives that has been destroyed. I would like to thank Anastasia and Demetrius for all the support they have done for the Youth Advisory Committee and the constant support they have done. I would also like to thank Luis for the invaluable guidance and insight throughout the grant-making process. It was honestly a pleasure working with him, and he really just allowed me to get right in and just see how the process is made. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Hi, everyone. My name is Luis. I'm from the New York office. I wanted to share 2 quick highlights of the process of working with Simon on these grants. The first one, as you noticed, both organizations that Simon spoke about serve similar populations. And this is not a coincidence. This reflects the fact that Simon really cares deeply about this issue. And working with him reminded me of the importance of bringing your own passions to this work. Second, Evelyn Chumbo, who leads the fellowship that SNF will be supporting, not only is a survivor herself, and not only is she leading this fellowship, but she helped design it. And working with her and talking to her reminded me of the importance of centering survivors and the fact that those who have suffered injustice are often in the best position to help find the solutions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Luis. And now we'll welcome Ioannis and Vasiliki.
Kalispera. Hello, everyone. My name is Niarchos, and I'm pleased to turn our attention to the next grantee. When we were invited to take part in this grant-making process, one of the questions that wandered in my mind was, what kind of future are we actually supporting? While Tomorrow is an organization working to protect, restore, and rewild a critically important wildlife corridor in KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa, one of the world's most biodiverse regions. Their proposal connects environmental protection with local opportunities. Through the Green Mambas program, local Zulu women are employed to rewild degraded grasslands, forests, and wetlands. In an area affected by poverty and unemployment, conservation of the environment provides a source of income, securing stability and dignity to the local community. The grant also supports environmental education, giving children the chance to experience their own habitat and understand why protecting it matters. Securing a better tomorrow means building the infrastructure that makes the change possible, but also the mindset that allows it to last. Moving on, closer to home, Arcturus, an organization many of us in Greece know through its work protecting bears, wolves, lynx and their habitats, but their proposal for the 30 for 30 initiative had something bigger to offer. The Young Ambassadors for Human-Wildlife Coexistence program will train 6 young adults, aged 18 to 30, through field-based learning in northern Greece. They will work with researchers and conservation specialists, learning about wildlife monitoring, conflict prevention, and understanding in the bigger picture what it means for communities to exist with large carnivores. In a world flooded with information, evidence-based knowledge does not travel on its own. The program gives young researchers the tool to learn how to translate science into a direct message understood by the public. By doing so, Arcturus will help to create a new generation of thinkers who can carry the conversation beyond their field. Young minds become a bridge between science and society, helping reduce fear and mistrust, turning scientific data into an everyday practice. Lastly, I would like to thank Vasiliki Darpanopoulou for all the support and help during the process. Vasiliki.
Thank you very much, Giannis. What I'll remember the most is how often we would turn to each other and share how much we're enjoying the 30 for 30 initiative process. Every meeting sparked new questions and meaningful conversations that challenge us to think differently and see things from each other's perspectives. Those moments made the experience not only intellectually engaging, but also deeply fulfilling. I learned from you the power of bringing genuine enthusiasm and presence into the space you're part of. I was also reminded throughout this process of the importance of collaboration, of building something through shared reflection, trust, and mutual respect. The lessons, the conversations, the exchange of ideas, and the laughter made this journey one that I will carry with me with gratitude. Thank you very much, Yannis. Thank you to the Youth Advisory Committee, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Giannis. Thank you, Vasiliki. And now Eleni and Alina.
Kalispera. Hello, everyone. My name is Eleni Batsari. I'm a member of the SNF Nostos Youth Advisory Committee and a recent nursing graduate from National Capodistrian University of Athens. This degree is my foundation as I begin my journey in the healthcare field. To me, the 30 for 30 process was an eye-opening experience. Collaborating closely with Elena from the SNF programs team, I had the great opportunity to realize the incredible behind-the-scenes dedication. We proposed EuroDis, an organization I am proud to have personally suggested, as a global alliance of over 1,000 patient groups. They advocate, empower, and partner to improve life for those with rare diseases. Rare disease patients are often called zebras because their conditions are overlooked. Beyond medical struggles, these young people face a social odyssey of isolation and systemic barriers. The grant for this 12-month pilot program helps through tailored training, education, and patient mentoring to bridge that gap. Moving on to our second funding organization, which highlights another deeply impactful side of the 30 for 30 journey. I'm equally proud of our involvement with the Mazi Housing Project. This organization creates a vital support system for marginalized young men in Athens, offering them not only stable housing, but also the essential resources to successfully integrate into society. This grant funds a shared apartment for a year, providing safe shelter for 8 young men seeking refugee. It also relaunches Recipes for Life, a brilliant program teaching essential budgeting and cooking skills. Mazi doesn't just provide a roof, it provides a future, empowering these individuals to reclaim their independence. Thank you a lot, Elena, for this journey, and over to you.
Thank you, Eleni. Thank you, Eleni, and I'm very happy to have worked with you. I have to say your sense of responsibility throughout the process truly impressed me. So we both made the most of this opportunity, reviewing materials together, engaging in thoughtful discussions, and carefully preparing for our calls with nominated organizations. During that process, we not only created space for each other, but also made sure everyone felt heard. All that led to 2 partnerships that we are celebrating today with our Youth Advisory Committee members, fellow program officers, grantees, and all of you. As Eleni said, both collaborations with Eurodis, Rare Diseases Europe, and Mazi Housing Project carry a strong sense of purpose, supporting vulnerable youth, removing barriers, and building connections, a purpose that inspires us all. Thank you for being part of this journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Eleni and Alina, and Sophia and Rula.
Hello, I'm Sophia Terrell-Knott, and I'm beyond grateful to have been part of the Youth Advisory Committee and part of the 30 for 30 process. I first want to introduce Bread for the City. Since 1976, Bread for the City has provided a network of critical services to low-income residents of Washington, D.C., working to develop residents' power to determine the future of their own communities. The city has recently faced cuts to social safety net services, inflation, and mass federal government layoffs, devastating the predominantly Black and low-income communities that Bread for the City serves. Their food program has seen an unprecedented 50% increase in monthly pantry visits and an overall increase in people seeking assistance who have never before needed help. The network of services Bread for the City provides to these residents is vast. They have a food program which distributes 3 million meals a year, a clothing program which clothes 1,400 people a year, a medical clinic that serves 3,000 people a year, and more. Additionally, Bread for the City is a majority Black-led and Black-governed organization with strong representation of clients on the board, a reflection of their community. They truly are dedicated to those they serve, which is why we're proud to support their operations this year. Now, on to our next grantee, Paul's Place. For more than 40 years, Paul's Place has diligently worked to improve the lives of Baltimoreans in under-resourced neighborhoods. They provide a hot meal that meets people often excluded from social support systems where they are, and then they work to connect those guests with direct services. That means someone who doesn't have a phone and is just focused on their next meal comes in for lunch and leaves having used their case management services and the nurse's clinic. Maybe after a few weeks, their children participate in the after-school or summer programs, increasing their test scores and their attendance. They could even take part in the culinary training program that empowers residents to become economically self-sufficient. This network of direct services that connects people to housing, employment, and education creates long-term change. but that long-term change is only possible because guests come in seeking a hot meal. That is why this grant goes to support the basic day services of Paul's Place, aka those hot meals, enabling them to work with their community the way they know best. Now I'd like to thank Ange and Rula, the two POs I worked with, and hand it over to Rula.
Thank you, Sophia, especially for adopting me. And thanks to all the members of our Youth Advisory Committee, past and present, especially for your questions. The why, the how, what if, why not? Questions that helped you and us recognize the tensions at play in our work, tensions inherent in all kinds of work, and that helped you find a way forward. You reminded us that it's important to keep asking these questions even after 30 years. The questions came from a place of care, from seeing the humanity in the other. They didn't make the work easier, but we think it made it better. We hope that you bring this sense of care with you in everything you do, and we thank you for helping us to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, Rula. And now we'll welcome Tombi and Orly.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ntombikai Sengcube, and I serve on the Youth Advisory Committee. I'm very excited to present to you the next set of grantees, both hailing from the communities in Malawi and telling a beautiful story of the power of youth serving, community integration, and the importance of youth-centered programs that provide a holistic approach to meeting children and adolescent needs. First, I present Hair Liberty from the district of Zomba. Hair Liberty is a true champion in adolescent girls' empowerment, where they provide holistic support to young women and girls and adolescents overall. The SNF grant will help support Hair Liberty's Namakale Early Childhood Development Center, which beyond a learning program for children is also a beacon of hope to endless possibilities for young teen mothers who have their children enrolled at the center. Next, we have Youth Wave Malawi. From the districts of Kauma and Mchesi, Youth Wave is truly a youth-led, youth-serving, and community-based organization, deeply rooted in the community and equipped with a strong understanding of adolescent needs. Youth Wave is making a meaningful impact. The SNF grant will help support Youth Wave's Sports for Life program, which enables them to deliver grassroots soccer's signature adolescent mental health promotion and prevention program, Mind Skills, and ensuring that adolescents in Malawi's underserved communities have access to these critical services. The 30 for 30 Next Gen grants will help elevate, inspire, and change the narrative for the better for community organizations across the globe. And this was not a one-person job. Allow me to introduce an amazing person, mentor, and coach who made the process so amazing and really exciting. Aurelie, over to you.
Thank you, Ntombi, and thank you to all the YAC members. During our debrief, Ntombi and I reflected on the incredible organizations that we are privileged to support. They are building community-rooted systems of care led by people who deeply understand the needs of those they serve. This initiative has also shown us the value of youth participation. It's not just about having a seat at the table, but bringing lived experience, asking deep and important questions, and helping shape decisions. To all of you, to you and Ntombi, thank you for your positive energy, your trust, your commitment, and your hard work. It's been a real privilege to work with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tombi. Thank you, Orly. And now Katie and Aristi.
Hello, good afternoon, kalispera. How's everyone feeling today? I'll tell you personally, I feel like almost $1 million. And why? Because that's how much we almost gave, or we did give, to all these organizations. Yeah, that deserves a round of applause. My name is Katie Nguyen, and I'm from the SNF Nostos Youth Advisory Committee. To me, to know me is to know who I come from. My parents are refugees from Vietnam who immigrated to the US to start a new life. From being a first-generation college graduate to cultivating my DJ skills, my family and I know how valuable nonprofits are and how they give equitable access to education and services. That's why nonprofits like EduSkate serve citywide, overlooked youth and deserve the 30 for 30 grant. So in 2007, pro skater Sean Connolly and late public school educator Thuy Nguyen founded the nonprofit EduSkate to empower children and youth in the San Francisco Bay Area. Through their combined forces of skateboarding, academic support, and arts, EduSkate creates a holistic environment where young people can grow in confidence. EduSkate engages 140 youth through on-site programming and more than 1,000 community members to support youth personal development and forge pathways for art opportunities. With the 30 for 30 grant, SNF will support EduSkate's Arts and Resilience Initiative. This proposal was written up by Executive Director Katie Pilgrim, who actually is here today. She came all the way from San Francisco. Katie Pilgrim, if you could please stand up so you could have your acknowledgement.
She did. She did.
Is she? Oh,
Yeah,
here she
yeah.
is. She moved. She told me she was in the back, but so notably, SNF will support arts and cultural field trips, a 6-week screen printing residency, zine publishing, and paid internships to empower the youth of the San Francisco Bay Area. The beloved Thuy Nguyen left a lasting impact on San Francisco's youth. As she has since passed away from cancer in November 2020, her husband, Sean Connolly, and the dedicated team at the SF Skate Club continue to run EduSkate, carrying forward her original mission of youth empowerment. Thank you, EduSkate. The second nonprofit I'll present is YASO. YASO utilizes the power of bachata and other traditional Latin American and Caribbean genres to serve the underserved youth based in the Dominican Republic, DR, and Haiti. Founded in 2013, the project has transformed from a music program into 2 standalone music schools called La Academia de Bachata. It's the only music school in the world dedicated to bachata, which offers 27,000 hours of free music education. That's guitar, percussion, singing, and more. They work with over 500 high-need students starting from preschool. The Academia employs a sustainable model where over half of their teachers are former students. With SNF support, the Academia will be able to take on more students with a passion for music while funding 6 talented teachers' salaries next year. Give it up for YASO Cultural Foundation. I'll pass the mic to Aristi, who took me under her wing throughout this entire process. Thank you, Aristi, for your guidance and your mentorship when I couldn't wake up at 7:30 in the morning because of the time difference, but we made it work.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the Youth Advisory Committee for your work, commitment, and the energy you brought to this initiative. You nailed it. Katie has also supported SNF Nostos as an intern in 2023, and we were very happy to welcome her back as a Youth Advisory Committee member this time. And I personally was very excited to be given the opportunity to work with her again. Her fresh perspective, insightful thinking, her kindness, her genuine and forthright personality, and our long conversations have been truly inspiring. Working with Katie reminded me that at its core, grant making, it's not just about years of experience, processes, data, numbers, following the norms. Change comes from willingness to think things differently and from taking a step back and just listen. She reminded me that all you need to create positive, transformative impact is an open mind, an open heart, and the courage to take a leap of faith. So thank you, Katie, for this amazing journey.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Aristi. And now we'll welcome Jeffrey and Lindsay.
Kalispera. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Lin, and I'm a member of the SNF Nostos Youth Advisory Committee. I was also pleased to work alongside Program Officer Lindsay Cooper for the duration of the 30 for 30 initiative. And I now have the privilege of introducing our next two 30 for 30 initiative grantees, starting with the Ethiopian NGO Taya. In Ethiopia, youth make up the largest proportion of the population, but they currently face barriers to comprehensive reproductive and sexual health care and information. Due to social stigma, youth are less likely to seek accurate health information and utilize services. So, in response to these trends, Taya created key initiatives including outreach campaigns, dialogue sessions, and digital media campaigns to promote education on sexual and reproductive health. Their key goals are to educate young community members about their human rights and health resources available to them, as well as create platforms for open and safe dialogue. We are pleased to partner with Taya in improving access to these essential services and information for youth in Ethiopia. Let's give them a hand. The next NGO is significant for me as a Baltimore resident myself. For generations, the city of Baltimore has seen significant racial disparities in homeownership, aging housing, and a lack of investment in low-income neighborhoods. But since 1974, Neighborhood Housing Services of Baltimore has been dedicated to confronting these pressing housing issues. Their home ownership preservation program helps stabilize vulnerable households and preserves affordable housing communities that have historically lacked necessary investment, ultimately to contribute to revitalizing neighborhoods across Baltimore City. By providing foreclosure prevention counseling and funding essential home repairs, the program helps ensure that older adults can age in place with dignity and safety. Now, this grant will assist the program in reaching approximately 80 elderly homeowners over the next year. And when even one homeowner is kept safely in place, a whole block is stabilized. So we're pleased to support Neighborhood Housing Services of Baltimore through the 30 for 30 initiative. Let's also give them a round of applause. Now, in a second, I'll turn it over to Lindsay to share a few remarks, but first, just want to say, Lindsay, thank you for your wise perspectives and your encouragement throughout this entire process.
Thank you, Jeff. It was a pleasure working with you. I echo, of course, what all of my fellow POs have said about the importance of incorporating youth into this process. But I have to share something a little bit different, that Jeff and I together worked through some exceptionally difficult decisions throughout this process, ones that were fairly personal and tugged at our hearts. It's a good reminder that grant making is not often simple or straightforward. These are the moments when collaboration and multiple perspectives are the most important, and I want to thank Jeff for being open and engaging in challenging but meaningful conversations. So thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Lindsay. And now we'll welcome Sikalela and Athena.
Molweni. That means hello in South Africa. I'm from South Africa. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sikelela Kholom, and I am one of the members of the Youth Advisory Committee, and I will present 3 out of the 30 organizations that the SNF will support through the 30 for 30 initiative. So to start off, the first organization is called the Students and Youth Working on Reproductive Health Action Team. Across Zimbabwe and the Southern African region, countless young people face challenges that too often go unseen, unaddressed, or unsupported. For more than 20 years, Students and Youth Working on Reproductive Health Action Team, known as Say What, has been working to change that reality. Established in 2003, Say What is a youth-led public health organization dedicated to advancing the health, rights, and well-being of young people. Now, the second organization is called Baltimore Beat. This evening, we recognize a newsroom that is redefining what it means to serve a community through journalism. Baltimore Beat is a Black-led independent newspaper based in Baltimore, Maryland, dedicated to telling stories that reflect the realities, challenges, and aspirations of the people it serves. The last organization is Missionville Care Center. For nearly 4 decades, Missionville Care Center has been a place of dignity, care, and opportunity for some of the most vulnerable members of society. Established in 1988 and located in the Missionville community of Gqeberha, which is where I'm from, the center was founded in response to widespread poverty, unemployment, and limited access to essential services. Over the years, it has grown into a trusted community institution that reaches approximately 200,000 beneficiaries annually through a range of integrated support programs. Missionville Care Center provides critical healthcare services through the primary healthcare clinic, offering medical consultations, HIV and TB testing and treatment support, family planning services, physiotherapy, and women's health care. Thank you very much, and I'd like to hand over to Athena and say thank you so much for being patient with me. Thank you for educating me on how to handle interviews, and overall, thank you for being a good person. Enkosi.
Thank you, Sikelela, and thank you to each member of the Youth Advisory Committee. It was a pleasure sharing this experience with all of you. Throughout our collaboration with Sikelela, one thing consistently stood out: her search for just, transparent, and impactful work. And I think that perfectly depicts her ethos and her potential as an aspiring journalist and as a person. I learned that looking for those core values is key when aiming to add yet another pin on this map of grantmaking. Ultimately, and this applies to all Youth Advisory Committee and SNF pairs, the fact that Sikelela and I, in South Africa and in Greece respectively, collaborated and secured support for an organization all the way to the US is a single yet indicative example of the work that we do at SNF and the partnerships that we foster. So thank you again. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Sikelela. Thank you, Athena. And then we'll welcome Hillary, Dimitra, and Dimitra.
Hi everyone, I'm Hillary, and SNF NOSTA's Youth Advisory Committee member from Hong Kong. So today is my privilege to introduce 2 organizations dedicated to reshaping the world in their respective sectors. Intersection of Change is a community-rooted organization in Baltimore, working to break the cycle of systemic poverty in Sandtown, Winchester, Upton, and surrounding neighborhoods. Among its many initiatives, Jubilee Arts stands out, bridging arts and enterprise to empower residents with new skills and opportunities. Through year-round classes in ceramics, visual arts, dance, and business, the program serves over 2,500 children and adults annually. Its workforce development tracks, youth in business, and art network provide paid apprenticeship and entrepreneurial training for 25 to 45 teens each year, producing over 35 murals across the city since 2015. This year, SNF's 30,000 grant provided critical support, sustaining staffing, youth stipends, and art supplies, deepening the impacts of a proven creative hub in West Baltimore. Signals from the Grassroots is an international youth-led organization dedicated to empowering young people to drive positive change in their communities. Founded just over 3 years ago, it has already reached over 5,000 young people across 54 countries, connecting grassroots passion with opportunities and ultimately transforming communities. The Her Period, Her Right project stands out as it addresses the high cost of menstrual care and economic vulnerability. In Ghana's Al-Fadama, the country's largest informal settlement. Through a two-pronged approach, the project trains 2,000 girls and women to produce reusable sanitary pads while providing reproductive health education. Building on proven success in Kenya and Uganda, this model restores dignity and strengthens economic resilience. This year's SNF's 30,000 grant provides critical support for training materials, sustaining momentum, and maximizing its impact. Last but certainly not least, I would like to express my deepest gratitude for my mentors, Dimitra and Dimitra, whose kindness and unwavering support made this journey infinitely more fulfilling for me. As a 19-year-old who's rarely been taken seriously, thank you so much for trusting my voice in this journey. And thank you. I'll pass the mic to Dimitra.
Thank you, Hillary. You've been wonderful, and we were very lucky to be working with you. We were also lucky to be working in a team of 3, so this meant even more different ideas and perspectives. What I take out of this process is what a partnership with young people, with our Youth Advisory Committee, can bring to life when young people are involved not as advisors at the margins of a process, but as true partners throughout. The result was not only a far more inclusive process and far more inclusive decision-making process, but better and more impactful decisions, and thank you for that.
Thank you again, Hillary. Thank you to each member of the Youth Advisory Committee. Working alongside with you reminded me that sometimes the greatest value is not having the right answer, but asking the right question. So time and again, your perspectives and observation, your curiosity and your enthusiasm challenged us to see issues differently and opened up new possibilities. And for me personally, that is the power of meaningful youth participation. It does not only bring new voices into the room, it also expands the boundaries of what the room is able to imagine. Thank you all.
Thank you, Hillary, Dimitra, and Dimitra. And now we'll welcome Irini and Eleni.
Kalispera, good evening. Bear with us, we're almost done, but it's all worth it, we promise. So I'm Irini Petru, originally Greek, but I have been living in Switzerland for the past few years. And I'm going to take you from Uganda to actually London, United Kingdom. And we've seen throughout all the recent discussions we had also as part of Nostos that behind every strong health system are people with the knowledge and training to shape it and lead it. That's why we're excited to welcome the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, one of the world's leading institutions in public health education and research. For more than a century, London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine has trained generations of public health leaders, researchers, clinicians, and policymakers who today work in over 190 countries around the world. Our support will contribute to the University Scholarship Fund, a highly respected funding mechanism that has been adapted specifically within the context of this specific initiative. Throughout this fund, a fully funded Master of Science placement will be offered to a student from a low-middle-income country that otherwise would not have the chance to study. What makes this opportunity especially powerful is that the recipient will carry the designation of SNF Scholar, creating a direct and lasting connection between their future contributions to global public health and the foundation support. Before closing, I'd like to share a reflection. As someone who has been sitting on the other side of the table of grant making, I have been actually applying, in most cases with no success, but that's part of the PhD. But yeah, I had for the first time the opportunity to sit at the other side of the table, and what I learned is that great philanthropy isn't just about funding good ideas, it's about identifying the people and organizations most likely to turn those ideas into lasting impact. And I would not be able to do that if I was not being led by the great programs department, greatly led by Casey, and also with the greatest support offered by Eleni Agoridi, who's sitting next to me. And of course, our colleagues from IMED, Dimitri and Anastasia, who all greatly gave us all their advice and support. That said, I will turn it to Eleni Agoridi, who was the partner in crime next to me. Thank you, Irini. Good afternoon. I'm so glad that we were given the opportunity to partner with a member of the Youth Advisory Committee. The perspective, this gave a new perspective to our work, and we thank each and every one of you for your enthusiasm and commitment. Irini and I collaborated in an excellent way, as if we had been working together for a long time. Irini is a promising PhD candidate at ETH Zurich, so her curiosity and passion for research shaped the way in which we evaluated the request assigned to us. And I really enjoyed our in-depth discussions as we finalized our recommendations to the group and the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, before we continue, because again we're a bit tight with time. Thank you very much. Or really, it's why we do what we do, to be able to have opportunities like that to share with you. So thank you for all the hard work. I'm looking for a paper. Hold on, sorry. Με τα ονόματα το έχεις. Με τα ονόματα. Give me 1 second. I do apologize, but... Με τα ονόματα. So, anyway, let's go on and I'll come back.
So just to close out, we'll welcome Bryn and Jaden to speak about 2 of our final partnerships here. Thank you.
Okay, so we are here. My name is Bryn Gammer. Nice to see you all again. We are here to present the last 2. We'll keep it moving, but I really want to do these organizations justice. So let's start with the DREAM Project. The DREAM Project is a youth education nonprofit in the Dominican Republic, serving over 6,000 low-income children and families per year. Their work spans multiple branches of service, from early childhood education to youth development and community outreach. And the grant they receive from SNF will benefit their Sports for Life, or Deportes para la Vida program, which has been active and successful for over 20 years now. With SNF support, the DREAM Project will educate youth about making healthy decisions, including the prevention of HIV, underage pregnancy, and gender-based violence. And importantly, the program follows a sustainable model. Using the Train the Trainer method, 25 youth coaches will be trained on the sports-based curriculum before bringing it back to their own communities. In total, over the next year, over 600 at-risk middle and high school students will benefit. Lastly, we have the Hazelton Integration Project, or HIP. They're an organization in Pennsylvania and the United States, and for over 13 years, they provided educational, cultural, and athletic opportunities for underserved children and families in the area. With a particular eye for the city's population of recent Latino immigrants, HIP builds bridges between community members, offering free and low-cost services for all. That includes children's education, adult English classes, and computer literacy programs, not to mention the city's largest food distribution center. With the grant, 100 elementary school students will be sponsored in the center's after-school scholars program. There, they'll receive academic enrichment, STEM education, and also important physical resources, including hot meals every day after school and winter coats for when it gets cold in the winter. Now, part of the beauty of the 30 for 30 initiative for me was seeing this organization, one that I care very deeply about, receive a grant, as HIP is the very place that inspired my career in nonprofit administration and human rights ever since I started volunteering with them in high school. Thank you. And finally, you'll be hearing from perhaps the most hardworking professional and program officer I've ever had the pleasure of working with, Miss Jada Neff.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Bryn, and thank you to all the members of the Nostos Youth Advisory Committee. I am so grateful for having gotten to work with you on this project. The enthusiasm that you've brought and the tenacious dedication that you've applied to finding not only good but really transformational grants has left me with renewed optimism for the world that we live in and renewed enthusiasm for the work that we do. So thank you so much.
And now you'll hear.
My name is Zoe Skalkos, and I'm a research associate at Arcturus.
Youth Wave, Baltimore B,
Eurus Rare Diseases Europe,
Black Youth Institute,
EASO Cultural Foundation,
the Dominican Republic Education and Mentoring Project,
Intersection of Change,
Safe Space Sierra
Florence Nightingale Foundation,
the Human Trafficking Legal Center,
Student Organ Donation Advocate,
the Freedom Hub.
We are based in the north coast of the Dominican Republic,
Zimbabwe, Kenya, Nairobi, London, but also in Uganda and the Gambia,
Southwest Baltimore, Maryland,
Paris, Dominican Republic, Haiti, and the United States.
We're based in Athens, Greece,
Missionville, Gqeberha, South Africa, Nagasaba, Ethiopia,
the United States,
Sydney, Australia,
Washington, D.C.,
Pennsylvania,
Malawi.
Our mission is to protect biodiversity,
to promote gender equality,
addressing poverty-related challenges in our community,
to make sure that news is accessible to everyone,
saving and protecting threatened and endangered species,
to empower young people through skateboarding,
to advance food sovereignty,
to empower underserved youth in the Caribbean,
to improve health equity worldwide,
providing comprehensive child protection services to unaccompanied refugee minors,
help them access housing,
ensuring that young people's sexual and reproductive health and rights are fulfilled,
ending modern slavery by empowering survivors,
to transform the law from a complex barrier into a powerful tool for accountability,
to help women and girls live free from violence and discrimination.
We work meaningfully with young people,
people with rare diseases,
the young men who are seeking refuge,
children aged 3 to 5 from vulnerable communities,
older adults,
and young people in Zulu. 170 children and caregivers,
15 local Zulu women,
underserved children and families.
With the support of SNF, we aim to bring 30 school classes from disadvantaged areas into museums and cultural spaces.
Developing nursing and midwifery leadership,
strengthen their nutrition and health service quality, to get medications,
reach 2,000 youth,
provide individualized mental health support for all the children under our care,
offer them a meal, an ear that listens, and a heart that cares.
To the Youth Advisory Committee, we say thank you for believing in our idea,
for supporting such a great opportunity for young people,
for all of the hard work they did,
for your trust in our work,
for considering our application, our project, and our organization,
for believing in youth-led solutions,
for investing in the next generation of healthcare leaders and change makers,
for believing in us, for giving us this opportunity to impact humanity.